Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for September 29th. Talk about a wild day in the market. Don't know if y'all caught the 150 plus pip move in the EURUSD when the Congress was voting there right towards the end, all within like a 5-minute bar. It was insane. Great day to day trade though if you were on the right side of the market. If you can get out of the market when you're in it, it's a great opportunity to make money. Nonetheless, looking at the EURUSD, I'm looking for this market to be between 107.26 on the very high side. On the low side, we've actually already pegged our range there, and that's at 103.69. If we see a break below the 103.50 area, look for it to move much lower fairly quick. Now, this market plunged down today. I anticipate it doing the same during the session that we're currently in. Look for some support, though, to come into the market around 103.50. We've seen that, or almost that, already. If the market can break through that, push through the 103, 48 area, we should see it move lower, as I said before. But if it doesn't, it could just bounce off of it as it did earlier. Now, as far as resistance goes, look for the 104.50 area for some resistance to come into the market, assuming that we pull back and it goes a little bit higher. Now, in the EURUSD pair, this pair, of course, is moving lower, plunged down, pulled back a significant amount prior to the close, still closed lower though. I'm anticipating this range for the next session to be between 146.06 and on the lower side 142.57. Now look for some resistance to come into this market around 144.50, and on the lower side look for some support to come into the market around 143.50. So we should see that, and this is actually just a little bit lower than where we are currently. So definitely take a look at that. Now, something that I was looking at a little bit ago, just something to keep an eye on. We have retracement lines here. We're sitting right at the 50% retracement from this move. Of course, we had a larger move down this way, so you need to keep both in mind when looking at this. But if we can get a close below this 50 and take out this low, then the next area should be this 61.8% retracement, and that's at 142.62. We get a good break below that, and we should be looking for 141.50. If the market, I anticipate it pushing lower through this point, and if we get a break down to the 1.4150 area and a break below that, we could look to retrace 100% and take out that low and continue lower. It's definitely possible for that to occur. So that's just what I'm looking at there on the euro. Now, taking a look at the pound. The pound, I'm looking for it to move between 179.02 on the low side. On the high side, 184.07. Now look for some support, or some resistance rather, at 8,000. That's a little bit lower than I'm sorry, that's 1.8100. There we go. That's about here, and we're almost at the 18,000 mark. As far as support goes, though, we're looking for support around 179.50. That's 1.7550. So look for some support to come in the market, and we're getting close to that area, somewhere around in here on that particular on this particular pair. Now looking at the Swiss moved closed lower, moved much higher and then much lower and pulled back prior to the close. Still closed down. It's for the most part moving sideways. Definitely looking for a break beyond this low to the downside and this high to the upside to kind of pick a direction. For the most part, it's just moving sideways. I am anticipating this range being between 1.0782 and on the higher side 1.1123. Look for some resistance to come into this market a little bit higher than where it's at now at 1.0950, and as far as support goes, look for some support around 1.0860. That's right around this area. Well, that about does it for the charts. Make sure to keep an eye on the news. We have lots of stuff coming out with the U.S. and the Congress and the Senate trying to pass the this bailout that everyone's been talking about, and I'm sure you're sick and tired of hearing about it just as I am. But nonetheless, we have to endure it until they finally make a decision. Now, we do have some news announcements for tomorrow. The German unemployment change is coming out. That's being released at 3:55 a.m. Consensus is that unemployment has decreased from negative 40K to negative 18K. Overall unemployment rate is pretty much the same for September, though, looking at 7.6% overall. Now, the Eurozone has their consumer price index estimates being released at 5 a.m. Consensus is that it's dropped from 3.8% to 3.6%. Now, we do have the Canadian GDP being released for July, and that's at 8:30 a.m. Consensus is that it stayed the same at 0.1%. The U.S. has consumer confidence for September being released at 10 a.m. Looks like it's dropped by 1.9%. Look for, if it's out of the ordinary, if it's beyond the normal range, look for the market to move on it. Otherwise, don't really worry about the consumer confidence. It's going to be lower. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. Now, looking ahead, that pretty much does it. The Japanese have some news being released as far as their industrial index, but that's going to be at 7:50 p.m. later in the day tomorrow. So that's something to take a look at. Looks like it's improved from 2.4% to 2.5%. So that's something you can take a look at. I don't know. I don't anticipate that in affecting the U.S. Japanese yen, but if the numbers are way off, it could. So you may want to check that out. Well, until tomorrow, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.